Hello, everyone, and welcome back once again to another episode of Bold City Civics. My name is Shelton Hall, and I am your host. We are joined, as always, by my co-host and the co-founder of this fine program, Mr. John Lewis Meeks Jr. Hello.
Hello and happy birthday, River City.
That's right. Happy birthday, River City, and thank you to all of you for tuning in today. On this show, we talk about different aspects of Jacksonville, Northeast Florida, our society, our civic organization, our government, our politics, things like that. Today, we're going to talk in particular about the city itself, specifically the concept that we are celebrating the 200th anniversary of the city of Jacksonville. June 15th, 1822 is the day that Jacksonville was formally incorporated. We were named after Andrew Jackson, who was the first provisional governor of Florida, I believe, after we obtained this in a deal with the Spanish. The names were not consulted, but that's another thing. June 15th, 1822 was a Saturday, which is weird. Odd day to found a city on a Saturday, but if you have no city, I guess doesn't really matter when you do it. This year, June 15th, 2022 is a Tuesday, so we're celebrating it officially citywide on June 11th, which is a Saturday. The city of Jacksonville is helping with it. We're doing it at James Will and Johnson Park, formerly Hemming Park, which has been around since, I think, 1901. There's going to be a stage there. Then there's going to be a stage down at Riverfront Park, which used to be the Jacksonville Landing. So there will be music and activities and speakers going on different areas. And then also, both of those places, as you know, are at opposite ends of Laura Street. And so those places and then all of Laura Street in between will be blocked off for a sort of block party, vendors and food trucks, all that sort of thing. The Jacksonville Historical Society has really taken the lead on making all this happen. They were out there pushing for this idea a couple of years ago, and now in recent weeks we've got a lot of other people involved, like local media, particularly Folio, WJCT. We've gotten Downtown Vision involved, the Friends of James Will and Johnson Park, the library. We've gotten the Chamber of Commerce involved. Those people have all, and the city's put in money themselves on it. That's allowed them to have a bit of a budget to really make this happen. It's not just that particular festival on the 11th. There's a lot of things being planned throughout the year from June going forward to commemorate the festival, to commemorate the founding of the city in different ways. Juneteenth, of course, is just a few days after that. There will be things connected to that. And the night before June 11th, on June 10th, my good friend Gary Sass, who runs Adlib Luxury Tours Incorporated, he's a tour guide. He does walking tours all through Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island, etc. He's doing a bicentennial pub walk. It's the Jack's Pub Walks thing. We meet up at 7 p.m. at Bold City downtown on Bay Street. He talks about, we walk around for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. He tells a series of stories about aspects of local history based on different buildings and different spaces we stop by in the course of our walk. And all the stories are insane, and almost all of them are true except for one. Whoever can guess the one wrong or the one false story wins a prize of a certain type. So we do that, and we start at 7 p.m. at Bold City, and it wraps up at about 9 p.m. at Ruby Beach downtown, which is on Adams Street? Adams Street? I believe Adams Street. Right down from the Florida Theater and right down from Dos Gatos in the old postal building. That's where that wraps up. They just opened up in December, I believe. A really nice place. And then at 9, we're doing a special game of bicentennial trivia. Bicentennial trivia hosted by myself on that night. We're going to have no music, just about 25 questions about local history. We have over $700 worth of prizes given out that have been collected so far. We're going to have some jumbo shrimp tickets, some Jacksonville Sharks tickets. We're going to have some books from the Jacksonville Historical Society. We've got a $100 gift card from Downtown Vision Incorporated to be spent on local businesses. We've got a bunch of local books. We got some records from local artists, some clothing and merchandise. It'll be a good, fun time for everyone to meet up. And again, all this is, as always, with Bold City Civics. Everything we talk about here is all ages, family friendly, and completely safe and appropriate to bring anyone that you want to bring to. That's something that I feel the need to make sure because we do have a lot of nightlife things. You have bars and stuff in Ruby Beach, Bold City. Those are breweries. You can have beer there, but there's also food trucks and all kinds of fun things. So the city was founded back in 1822 by the point of the 1850 census. The city had fewer than 2,000 people, right? By this point, we're at close to 1 million. It was steady growth up through about 1901. We had the Great Fire. Prior to the Great Fire, we had a yellow fever epidemic that happened, I believe, in the late 1870s or so, which caused a lot of problems around the country, but then especially here in Jacksonville, being with so many people coming in transit. Airborne and communicable diseases, that's a whole thing. The Great Fire took out 40 blocks of property in downtown Jacksonville in about 7 hours. Killed 7 people at least, but the destruction to just people's lives and livelihoods was much greater. But within just a couple of years, Jacksonville had really begun to build back, and a lot of the stuff that was built in the place of what burned was very, very strong. We are visionary with construction projects. Jacksonville, for several decades in the early part of the 20th century, would consistently have whatever the tallest building in Florida was, it would be there. Whatever the biggest bank in Florida was, their headquarters would be here. Things, the rail, all the rail stuff, all the rail activity going up and down through Florida was essentially run and directed through state of Florida. Through Northeast Florida. Particularly through things like CSX, and before that, the old Florida East Coast Railway, Ed Fall, all that stuff. So there's a big, long tradition across different industries. We continued to build through the 1900s. There was an economic recession in the 1970s that hit us and caused a lot of disinvestment in the downtown urban core area. As that did to a lot of cities around the country, and different cities responded in different ways. And it's hard to, you can only gloss over that in the course of a session like that, because there are so many factors with how that went. So by the 1980s, by the late 80s, things were beginning to move up. There's always the dysfunction, people argue and whatnot, but at the end of the day, Jacksonville, it's a weird city, but it's an interesting city. A lot of interesting people. I've spent much of my life here. I was born and raised here. Several generations in this city. Some of my favorite people are here. Let's say also a big factor, before we get out of here, another big factor is the Navy. NES Jacksonville being founded in October 1940. Now the largest employer here in Northeast Florida. Certainly given me many of my closest friends in the world, and you all as well. So these are all things to ponder. You'll have more resources available to check out in the descriptions below, and we'll engage these topics more as we go on down throughout the year. Once again, my name is Shelton Hall. This is Bold City Civics. We are joined by our co-founder and co-host, Mr. John Lewis Meeks Jr.
Thank you for listening, and happy birthday, Jacksonville.
That's right. Happy birthday, Jacksonville, and thank you all for your listening, and thank you all for your support. We'll have more information about these and all the other topics below. Look us up on YouTube and all your favorite social media platforms, podcast platforms. Thoughts and suggestions appreciated. Thank you very much. Happy end of school year, and enjoy your summer.